Elite alien bully faces off against human cadet, defeated instantly. HFY Sci-Fi story. The training grounds of the Intergalactic Academy were abuzz with energy. Cadets from countless species had gathered on the observation deck, eager to witness the showdown between Chlorvax, an elite Krakorian warrior, and the Academy's newest addition, Cadet Elias Carter, a human. Chlorvax towered over Elias, his 6 arms crossed in smug confidence. His violet exoskeleton shimmered in the light, each movement exuding power. Krakorians were known throughout the galaxy for their brutal combat prowess, and Chlorvax was one of the best. He'd been taunting Elias for days, calling humans soft-boned primitives, and daring him to prove otherwise. Elias, to everyone's surprise, accepted the challenge with a shrug and a calm, "Sure, why not?" Now, as they stood in the training ring, the air was thick with anticipation. Chlorvax bared his razor-sharp teeth in a grin. "Do you know what you're getting into, human? I've bested warriors thrice your size and strength." Elias adjusted the sleeves of his academy uniform. Yeah, you're scary. Let's just get this over with." The referee, a gelatinous being called Zorba, wobbled into the center of the ring and raised a pseudopod. "Combatants ready? Begin." Chlorvax lunged, all 6 arms swinging in a coordinated flurry designed to overwhelm and incapacitate. Gasps erupted from the crowd. Elias didn't move. At the last possible second, he sidestepped, leaving Chlorvax's attack to slam into empty air. The alien stumbled, momentarily off balance. Before he could recover, Elias stepped in and delivered a single, well-placed jab to a small, glowing gland at the base of Chlorvax's neck. The effect was immediate. Chlorvax's body seized up, his arms flailing wildly before he collapsed to the ground with a heavy thud. Silence enveloped the arena. Elias dusted off his hands and glanced at Zorba. "That it?" The referee blinked in astonishment, then raised a pseudopod. "Winner, Cadet Carter." The crowd erupted in cheers, though a few spectators exchanged bewildered looks. Krakorians were nearly invincible in hand-to-hand combat. How had this human cadet taken down an elite warrior with a single strike? Chlorvax groaned from the ground, his pride more injured than his body. What? How?" Elias crouched down next to him, a faint smile on his lips. "You Krakorians are tough, no doubt about it. But your physiology is an open book. A nerve cluster right there," he pointed to the gland, "is a pretty big weakness. Basic anatomy. Maybe study more and bully less." As Elias walked away, the crowd parted, their awe turning into admiration. Humans were new to the academy, and their reputation had been shaky at best. But today, Elias Carter had earned their respect. Back in the human dormitory, his fellow cadets erupted into laughter and cheers as Elias entered. "You really did it," one of them exclaimed. Elias shrugged again, his demeanor as calm as ever. "What can I say? Bullies are the same, no matter what planet they're from." As the story of the fight spread throughout the academy, one thing became clear: humans might not have the biggest muscles or the scariest exteriors, but they had something far more dangerous: brains, guts, and an uncanny ability to adapt. As the story of Chlorvax's defeat spread, Elias became something of a legend among the cadets. Every alien species at the academy had its share of skepticism about humans, but now, the whispers carried a different tone. "They're not as weak as they look. Did you see how he took Chlorvax down in one move? Maybe humans aren't so primitive after all." Elias, however, wasn't interested in fame. He was at the Intergalactic Academy for one reason: to prove that humanity belonged among the stars. Despite the murmurs of admiration, he stayed focused on his training, but not everyone was ready to let him off the hook so easily. A week later, Elias was in the combat simulation room, practicing maneuvers against a holographic opponent. The simulation depicted a towering Zarnathi beast, its claws slashing through the air. Elias darted and weaved, his movements precise, his strikes deliberate. Just as he delivered a final blow to the beast's weak point, the simulation froze, and the lights flickered. "Impressive," a deep voice rumbled behind him. Elias turned to find a group of cadets standing in the doorway. At their center was Talix, a hulking Varaxian with crimson scales and glowing amber eyes. If Chlorvax had been intimidating, Talix was downright terrifying. Varaxians were infamous for their strength and ferocity, often acting as enforcers for intergalactic law. "You're the human who embarrassed Chlorvax," Talix said, stepping forward. "I hope you know he's been sulking in the medbay ever since. Quite a feat, considering his ego." Elias wiped sweat from his brow. He asked for it. Talix's lips curled into what might have been a grin, or a snarl. "And now I'm asking, a friendly spar. No tricks, no shortcuts. Let's see what you're really made of." The room fell silent. The other cadets exchanged uneasy glances. Talix wasn't known for holding back, even in training. Elias considered for a moment, then nodded. "All right, but if it's friendly, no broken bones." Talix laughed, a deep, guttural sound. Agreed. I'll try not to break you too badly. The sparring ring was packed. Word of the impromptu match had spread like wildfire, and cadets from all corners of the academy crowded in to watch. Elias and Talix faced each other in the center of the ring. The Varaxian loomed over the human, his claws flexing in anticipation. Zorba once again served as referee, raising a pseudopod. Begin. Talix moved first, his massive form charging like a freight train. Elias didn't flinch. He waited, studying Talix's movements. At the last moment, he sidestepped, narrowly avoiding the Varaxian's claws. Talix spun around, his tail whipping toward Elias. The human ducked, rolling under the swing and popping up on the other side. The crowd murmured in amazement. You're fast, Talix growled, but speed won't save you forever. He lunged again, this time with a flurry of swipes and strikes. Elias dodged and deflected, his movements almost effortless. Then, when Talix overextended on a particularly wild swing, Elias saw his opening. He stepped in close, too close for Talix to use his claws effectively, and jabbed at the Varaxian's side. It wasn't a powerful strike, but it landed on a pressure point Elias had identified during his studies. Talix froze, his muscles locking up for a split second too long. Elias swept his leg, taking the giant's balance out from under him. Talix hit the ground with a thunderous crash. Before the Varaxian could recover, Elias planted a foot on his chest. Yield? Talix blinked up at him, stunned, then burst into laughter. I yield, you've proven your point, human. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Later, as Elias was leaving the ring, Talix approached him. That was impressive, the Varaxian admitted, clapping a clawed hand on Elias's shoulder. You fight smart, I respect that. Elias grinned. Thanks, you're not bad yourself. Maybe next time, we can spar without an audience. Talix laughed. Deal, but don't think I'll go easy on you. As the two parted ways, Elias felt a surge of pride. Humanity's reputation had taken another step forward, and he'd gained something even more valuable, respect from a former rival. The academy was full of challenges, but Elias knew one thing for certain: humanity was here to stay. Over the next few weeks, Elias's reputation grew, but so did the challenges. The academy's ranking system, a measure of combat prowess, tactical skill, and leadership, was the ultimate goal for every cadet. Elias, once considered an underdog, now found himself climbing the ranks at an unprecedented rate. His latest victory over Talix didn't just earn respect, it also caught the attention of the academy's top-ranking cadets. Among them was Commander Venrak, a legendary Zorlaxian tactician known for her cold precision and unwavering dominance in every field of combat. Venrak was intrigued by the human cadet's rapid rise. She watched recordings of his fights, analyzing his style. His ability to think on his feet, adapt to his opponent, and exploit weaknesses was unlike anything she'd seen before. She decided it was time to test him herself. One morning, Elias received an official summons to the command hall. He entered to find Venrak waiting for him, her presence as imposing as her reputation. Venrak was tall and wiry, her crystalline skin shimmering under the hall's lights. Her multifaceted eyes seemed to peer into Elias's very soul. Cadet Carter, she began, her voice sharp and commanding. You've made quite a name for yourself. Elias nodded cautiously. I've just been doing my best, Commander. Indeed, Venrak replied, but skill in combat is only one piece of what it takes to excel at this academy. Strategy, teamwork, and resilience under pressure are equally important. I propose a challenge, a scenario that will test all these qualities. Are you willing to accept? Elias's brow furrowed. What kind of challenge? Venrak's crystalline lips curved into a faint smile. A simulation. You and a team of cadets against me, commanding a fleet of battle drones. The goal is simple: disable my fleet or survive for 20 minutes. Do you accept? Elias hesitated for only a moment before nodding. I accept. The simulation room was transformed into a battlefield. Holographic ships filled the space, and each cadet wore an augmented reality visor to interact with the environment. Elias's team consisted of 5 cadets, each from a different species: a Shalvaran engineer, a Tralaxian scout, a Igorian pilot, an Aurelian strategist, and Talix, who volunteered as the team's heavy hitter. As the simulation began, Venrak's drones emerged in perfect formation, their sleek designs cutting through the holographic void. Elias wasted no time. Shalvaran, set up EMP charges. Tralaxian, scout their flank for weaknesses. Igorian, keep their attention with evasive maneuvers. Talix, guard our base. Aurelian, coordinate with me on counter-strategies. The team sprang into action. Elias's voice was calm and decisive as he directed them, adapting to Venrak's every move. Venrak, true to her reputation, commanded her drones with surgical precision. They swarmed, flanked, and pressed the cadets relentlessly. But Elias was relentless, too. When Venrak's drones moved to surround their base, Elias anticipated the maneuver and countered with an EMP trap, disabling half the fleet. When Venrak tried to outflank their position, Elias directed the Tralaxian scout to intercept and delay her advance. Time ticked on. Venrak's drones were relentless, but the cadets fought with unity and ingenuity. Finally, with only a minute left, Elias saw an opportunity. Igorian, fake a retreat. Telex, be ready to charge. Everyone else, focus fire on their command ship. The coordinated assault worked. Venrak's flagship flickered and powered down, signaling the end of the simulation. The room erupted into cheers. Elias's team had done the impossible, they'd defeated Venrak. As the simulation ended, Venrak approached Elias, her expression unreadable. Well done, Cadet Carter. You not only survived but turned the tide in your favor. That is no small feat. Elias smiled. Thank you, Commander, but it was a team effort. Venrak inclined her head slightly. Humility, too. You may go far, human. As Elias and his team left the room, their camaraderie stronger than ever, one thought lingered in his mind: humanity had been underestimated, but now, they were proving their worth, not just with strength, but with strategy, teamwork, and heart. The stars awaited, and Elias Carter was ready to lead humanity toward them.